OBS. All right. Yeah, that should do it. Sorry about that, everyone. I'll just edit this. I'll edit my edit the stream later. All right. So stream's fixed. Now let me just go ahead and see if we're live right now. Currently speaking. All right. So I fixed it now. Hold on 1 second. Making sure everything's good. All right. Everything looks good right now on my end. Yep. Everything looks good. Everything looks good. Yep. All right. So I'll fix that later. Look, no intro on this one right here. So we're just gonna jump straight into it. Now, where was I at before I got cut off? All right. If the stream crashes again, no show tonight. We're getting off this bitch. That's just about it. So let me make sure where we're live at. Rumble. So all right. We're just gonna stream on YouTube only. Hold on. All right, so we're just gonna continue on right now. I'm just making sure everything's good, making sure YouTube comes out good. All right, I'm just making sure. All right, so just making sure everything is good, making sure everything is good. I'm trying to post a link right now so people can come into the stream. All right. All right, so there you go. I'm gonna post a link up right quick. All right, so for everyone, I'm sorry, I apologize about that. Bruh, this is what happens when you do everything by yourself. This is why I need to get a tech guy. Like if you're out there and you're a guy that knows how to work on tech, come work for me, please. I'll look, freelancers, we can start you off as a freelancer, and then you can come up and then I'll pay you later on. Okay? I need a tech guy, for real. Cause like, man, imagine doing all this by yourself. I'm having to try to keep this thing going by itself. So unfortunately, no Rumble stream. I'm only doing YouTube right now. I'm trying to multi-stream. All right. So like I said, I fixed it. Now I'm gonna continue on what I left off at on my monologue because I hate the fact that I was already in the middle of saying something and now I had to stop. Okay. So again, go back to what I just said before I got cut off. A part of me did not like the memorial service because of how the way it came off. It just came off as a RNC GOP event. This was supposed to just be a memorial service honoring Charlie Kirk, but then it turned into politics. You know, and I'm a guy that loves politics myself. I love talking about politics all the time. But even I know at some point where you have to just leave the politics where it's at and just focus on, say, a memorial service, for example. This is what we're talking about. And I'm at a memorial service honoring, say, my family memory or whatever. I'm not going to talk politics there. I'm not going to speak about that. And from what I've seen from all the speeches that okay, from what I see from all the speeches, like besides Erica Kirk's speech, which was mostly about her husband, and she kept it to her husband. I feel like that was the most authentic speech of them all, even besides Trump. And I'm not saying Trump does not give a damn about Charlie Kirk. That's not at all what I'm saying. But what I'm saying was it became less about Charlie Kirk and just more about politics during this whole memorial service. It just came more about politics. And like I feel like we should have kept it more about Charlie Kirk and about his impact and less about politics. And it just shame on the GOP for doing that. Like this should have been more about honoring Charlie Kirk and who he is, than less about less about politics. I'm just gonna keep it real. Like they were even selling merchandise over there. They were selling merchandise at the event. I saw the whole thing. So that was just my personal take. That's what I took away from this and stuff like that. That's just what I took away. I have videos right here we can react to. We can react to some of the speeches and stuff. Like I have Tulsi Gabbard, Marco Rubio, Pete Hegseth, and RFK Jr.'s all pay respects to Charlie Kirk in his memorial. Now, like I said, all of them together, I appreciate all of what they do. You know, especially with Charlie. I may have my disagreements about with Charlie Kirk, especially when it comes to Israel. But Charlie Kirk was definitely more about bringing back America back to what it originally was supposed to be, about family values, about pushing religion in schools and getting these kids out of these mindsets of where they're indoctrinated into these dark ideologies. As you can see right now with the left, like they're so engulfed into liberalism that it's morphed into all these other different types of ideologies, like leftist, progressivism. Like you most of them don't even want to be called liberal anymore. They rather be called a leftist, a progressive. You don't even know what they even want to be called anymore. Communist, you know. And that's mostly what this kid that took a shot at Charlie Kirk is. Like they're accusing this kid of being on the right. This kid is not on the right at all. This kid is not a right winger. This kid is definitely, from the way he comes off, from the what we know so far about him, even from his family's testimonies, that this kid was definitely not on the right. This kid was a communist. This kid loved trannies. Literally he had a tranny fucking boyfriend. How much more proof do you need that this kid is not on the right? Yes, we have gay people on the right, but I'm not too big of a fans of them. I'm consistent in my ideology. Most of these other guys can't even say that. But the point of the matter is, and this is what I have to harp on right quick, is that I did not like how the way this event was portrayed. The fireworks, the music, Trump's speech about, like, he focused on Charlie Kirk, but then he started going off on Joe Biden. He started going off on Brandon Johnson from Chicago. Yeah, Chicago's a shithole, but don't get me wrong. This is supposed to be about Charlie Kirk. This is not supposed to be about Brandon Johnson. This is not supposed to be about Chicago. This is supposed to be about Charlie Kirk. This is just, I did not like none of that stuff. Like the speech itself just didn't come off as like more about Charlie Kirk, or just more about the GOP. And JD Vance especially, we all know he has a bid to run in 2028. He needs the Trump base to come over and appreciate him. This is why kind of like it's hard to really kind of judge JD Vance's character if he's being authentic or not most times. Because everything he does is going to lead to him getting the votes in 2028. So everything he does in broad daylight on camera is about getting votes. I wasn't the only one that saw this too. There's a bunch of other people on the right that saw this too on Twitter that didn't attend the event, you know, besides myself, but they saw it too. They saw it as that this didn't come off as just being about, you know, about Charlie Kirk. This just became about politics. And this is where, like, even for me, out of all people who loves politics so much and love talking about it, even I have to say this is just kind of like what are we doing right now? Yes, we could demonize the left, but at some point, like, we're supposed to be honoring a man losing his life, not selling t-shirts, selling hats, doing all this at a memorial. Look, at a memorial service out of all places. Out of all places, this is a memorial service, and we're selling hats, T-shirts, and just we're getting voter registration to sign up at a memorial service. Where? What the fuck are we doing right now? You know, I like I said, it's just I'm kind of like just like I looked at the service like it look, don't get me wrong, it was a great service. It was a great service for Charlie Kirk. It was great to honor him. But the thing about this is I'm saying this from my perspective, but I feel like this is something Charlie Kirk would have wanted the way he is. But you got to understand the people that were there and trying to actually show respects to Charlie Kirk, in my opinion, were not the people that were involved in politics. It was the regular average people that were touched by what Charlie Kirk has said or done, that were there in attendance, that were actually there to mourn him. In my point of view, the people that were not there to mourn Charlie Kirk, that were not there to really so much as show respects, and I'm not saying they have no sympathy, no empathy for what happened to Charlie Kirk, but it was all the GOP members. It was more about politics and more about getting votes than it was about honoring Charlie Kirk. And this is kind of like where I'm just like, what are we doing right now? So for me personally speaking, this is kind of like where I just did not like it. So that's like I said, I have their. I'm probably not gonna react to none of their videos because, like I've said, like I've already said, I've already watched the whole event. I've seen the whole event. I pretty much know what happened. So I'm probably not gonna react to none of the videos about it because I've already like pretty much expressed exactly what I felt and what I've seen and what I've heard. You know, this turning into like a. And look, I gotta one thing I gotta say. Why didn't Erica Kirk go last? Why did Trump go? I understand Trump's the president, and it was probably designed that way. But why did they not have Trump go last? I mean, Trump go second to last, like Erica Kirk go last, so she can give her speech, give her remembrance about Charlie Kirk. So, and this is not me saying that. Look, like I said, like I'll say it before and I'll say it again. I was disappointed in some ways about how this turned out because this should have been a whole lot more better and should have just been strictly about Charlie Kirk and not just about getting votes. That's just how the way I interpreted it as, and this is the way what I've seen. And I'm not the only one that's seen this too. I'm not the only one that's seen this. The way this turned out, this should have been run to where it's just strictly should have just focused on Charlie Kirk because this just turned into like a big spectacle, like a memorial was supposed to be a guy just got killed. This should not be a spectacle. This should be only strictly about Charlie Kirk and not turn into like a big giant spectacle like it got turned into. So for me personally speaking, I got somewhat kind of got like disconjoined from the event, and I just kind of just did not like it the way it came out. You know, and then also now I'll drift away my criticism of the right now to the left right now, and give criticisms right there. There were people literally protesting the memorial service on the left. Literally, I think Destiny, the YouTube streamer, said that this was a Nazi rally. He called Charlie Kirk's memorial service a Nazi rally. This is not a rally for Nazis, bro. Like what the fuck are we talking about right now, man? Like there was literally a guy in the parking lot. I seen a photo of this guy. He was protesting a memorial service. Like what the fuck? Are you really serious right now? You're protesting a memorial for a guy that got killed. You're protesting a memorial service now? Like what the fuck are we doing right now? We got Omar going around here talking mad shit about Charlie Kirk's life and legacy. Meanwhile, she's married to her fucking brother to gain a license to be able to be a United States citizen. We got people like that in Congress running around making decisions right now. But what the fuck? I just don't know. I don't know what to say about this. Then we got I don't know if y'all seen today's news. Jimmy Kimmel apparently is being let back on by ABC. Is breaking news right now about that. So I saw that Jimmy Kimmel was allowed to be back on ABC's network programming, but there's a catch. There's a catch. So Sinclair Corporations also said they would preempt his show on all ABC network channels across the United States, as in they would not play his they would not play his show on none of the ABC channels. So ABC says one thing, but Sinclair, who is over ABC, says that they are not allowing him back on the air because get this, he still refuses to apologize behind the scenes. Now, I would say a little bit about Jimmy Kimmel right quick, and then we're gonna probably move on to the TikTok stuff. I I agree that Jimmy Kimmel shouldn't be banned for his speech, but this is what I will say. Jimmy Kimmel wasn't taken out, and I said this on my stream about Jimmy Kimmel, so you go back and watch that if you want to. I will say this again, and I'll regurgitate my point. Jimmy Kimmel was not banned because of what he said about Charlie Kirk. No, it's because he has no ratings. He doesn't draw any ratings for ABC. He does not at all. Since January of this year, his ratings have dropped tremendously. Literally, he does not even draw in, like, I don't even think like an average like over 100,000. I believe he draws. Let me fact check this right quick before I don't want to give out false details right now. But I'm about to look up exactly the number of like how much Jimmy Kimmel averages right now. Just to give y'all a fact of exactly why is that Jimmy Kimmel was banned. It's not because of what he said about Charlie Kirk is why he was banned. No, it's because he literally does not get any ratings. Bring this up on my screen right quick. So as you can see right here, in the second quarter of 2025, average of 1.77 million total views, and first in the key 18 to 49 demo with 220 average views. This performance was a high point for that year. Although his total viewership has generally declined since 2016, his ratings in September 2025 dropped to 1.104 million views after a post cancellation surge in July. That's why they took him off air. It's not because it's not because of what it's not because of what he said about Charlie Kirk. No, Jimmy Kimmel was taken off the air because this guy doesn't get any fucking ratings, man. They have no desire to keep this guy on the air. Him and Stephen Colbert were both taken off the air because they get no ratings. It's literally just an echo chamber. It's an echo chamber of only bringing on leftist celebrities, politicians onto the air, and they bring on no right-wing people on to debate. This is the reason why Jimmy Kimmel was taken off the air. It's not because of what he said about Charlie Kirk. That was an excuse to take him off the air. Jimmy Kimmel's show sucked, bro. Who the hell watches him? This is the most Jimmy Kimmel's probably ever been talked about. In how long? Jimmy Kimmel doesn't get any fucking ratings, man. Let's be real. Who the fuck is watching this fucking dude's show? Even Stephen Colbert, who the fuck watches this show? Here's the thing about Bill Maher, and I'll give Bill Maher some credit. Bill Maher actually brings on right-wing people from the right. He brings on people from the right, whether it be right-wing politicians. He debated Charlie Kirk. He brought on Ben Shapiro. He brings on people from the other side. That's the reason why I can give Bill Maher fucking credit. Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, they don't do that. They don't bring none of us on from that side. They rather keep an echo chamber. These guys get no fucking ratings, bro. That's the fucking reason why these guys suck so badly. And this is the reason why Sinclair and Nexstar were looking to get rid of Jimmy Kimmel, is because this guy is losing them fucking money. He does not bring them on any fucking type of currency at all. He's not bringing no new people to him, to the networks at all. Like, if anything, ABC's losing a lot of money because they have Jimmy Kimmel on air. That's the reason why he got taken off air. Losing my voice right now. I should have grabbed some fucking water before I did this fucking show. I'm gonna step away probably in a little bit, grab some water. But yeah. So that's the real reason why he didn't gain no view. This is the reason why Jimmy Kimmel was taken off the air. This is the reason why Stephen Colbert is taken off the air. This is the reason why most of these guys get taken off the air. Charlie Kirk is just a scapegoat for the comments about Charlie Kirk is just scapegoats for these guys. Jimmy Kimmel coming back, he's not going to be allowed back on TV right now until he apologizes. And from sources that are like around this situation, they've already said they're not going to allow him back on the air until he apologizes. And he refuses to do so. So just because Jimmy Kimmel is supposed to go live tomorrow, have his show back on the air tomorrow, that doesn't mean he's going to be live anymore until he publicly apologizes to Erica Kirk and gives out a full statement. And many people that sit here and defend him, of course, they're gonna like misrepresent exactly what Jimmy Kimmel said. Look, Jimmy Kimmel don't even know what the fuck he said because he would not even give clarity, give context about what exactly did that joke that he meant when he said about Charlie Kirk, said that the shooter of Charlie Kirk is one of their own. Like, he did give clarification about that joke because I guess from what people are saying is that joke was supposed to be a dive at Trump and not necessarily about Charlie Kirk. But using Charlie Kirk's name pretty much is what got him into so much bullshit. Oh, man. So, monologue over about that. So, anyways, this is what I got to say about, like I said, this is what I have to say about, like, the... Yeah, so this is what I have to say about I'm getting messages from some people right now. They're watching my show. All right, I appreciate everyone for tuning in right now. I have some new viewers right now. I'm glad for everyone to tune in right now. I'm happy for that. But the point of the matter, what I said is that, yes, I do not agree with how the way the service was handled. I do not agree with that at all. This should have been handled a lot better. This should have been coordinated a lot better. This was just too much about the GOP and less about Charlie Kirk. And even while I'm saying that, this is somewhat what Charlie would have wanted. This is somewhat what Charlie would have wanted. He would have wanted to gain more votes for the right wing, but from the personal perspective, looking in, this should have been more about him and less about the GOP and about gaining votes and about getting Vance elected in 2028. I'm not even sure if I'm even voting for Vance. I'm not a Vance supporter. I mean, we all know we get when we get Vance. We get Palantir. You get the tech bros to come in and create the techocracy. That's what you get when you vote for JD Vance in 2028. So I'm not voting Democrat. If anyone's going to twist my words around saying this is me saying, oh, I'm voting Democrat in 2028, I'm not voting for them either. I'm not voting for anyone as of yet until I know for sure what is it that the American people are promised. The American people are promised one thing. We are promised a better America. We want America to be great again. That's the slogan that was created. We want to be America first. You know, no more foreign wars, no more bombing foreign countries, getting involved in other countries' business and getting involved in other people's wars, man. We need to stop funding these wars and prioritize our people first. Our people need to know what's going on right now. Our people need all this care, everything. We need to prioritize America. Stop prioritizing other countries first and foremost. Prioritize America. Prioritize this great country right here. I love this country so much. I want this country to be great. I want this country to be strong again. We need to deport all these illegal aliens. We need to prioritize our own people. You know, as much as, you know, you call me the champion of the right, whatever. But one thing I would say is this, that I also want to also speak about, and I haven't spoke about this quite yet. White people especially need to prioritize having more children and having more kids. And the reason why I'm saying that right now is because of the declining birth rate of the white race. The white race is having a declining birth rate, which is leading to so much mass immigration because they are the majority race of America. If they decline, that's why there's so much shipment of these illegal immigrants, especially, well, not just illegal immigrants, the some legal immigrants too, the H-1Bs, the influx of Indians into America to take American jobs. Like, people wonder why you can barely get a job in America, why it's hard to get hired. People not having kids. Now, of course, you have minority groups that don't care about this slogan at all. They will have kids regardless. But it's white people that need to prioritize this more than anything. Because without them, of course, then America will turn into a multicultural hellscape. This is why America is losing out the way it is, because whites are not having children. We're not, along with not deporting these illegal aliens back to where they're from, and why we have so much of these problems right now we're having. And of course, that also could kind of contribute to social media in some ways, and it contributes to a lot of these problems that we have going on. Along with social media, you know, the invasion of all these illegal immigrants, this push for diversity, this push for all this garbage crap that's really just kind of like hurting the culture of America. So for me personally speaking, in order to keep America the way it does, it has to be focused on keeping whites the majority. You know, that's me taking my stance on this, that yes, whites do need to focus on having more children. They do need to grow their numbers so that way they don't become a minority in their own country. And I'm not saying it's not a country for blacks or whatever else. Look, you, as long as you're America, you love America, yes. This is supposed to be for all Americans. But the point of the reason why they're bringing in so many legal immigrants is because there's not enough people having children from the white family classes. So if you want to stop this problem from getting worse, prioritizing having children, and also we need to deport all these fucking illegal immigrants, because Biden let in over 16 million, probably even more than 16 million, probably 29 million immigrants, illegal immigrants came in over the year when Biden was in office alone. 29 million illegal immigrants came in. That's a lot. And then they wonder why you're seeing like they're at almost every job. I go to fucking Wingstop. It's filled with nothing but Spanish people that barely speak a lick of English. They come here, they don't even bother learning the language. They just come over the border and just go help themselves at whatever job they can get, because these companies don't want to pay Americans their actual working wages, and they just rather hire these fucking people because it's so much easier to do it. Huh. Anyways, now I've regurgitated this enough about the Charlie Kirk stuff right now. We've talked about the memorial, and this was just basically like my problem with the memorial and why I didn't like it and why I have an issue with it. But right now, we are going to move on now to the TikTok stuff. Oh, wrong window. Is it not on there? Ah, I messed it up. Hmm. All right, so I can't even pull my stuff. Hold on. Let me pull this up right quick. All right, there we go. All right, boom. So, want to hold on one just a second. So, I'm gonna pull up what is a video about this right now. So, we're gonna talk about the TikTok deal that's going down right now between the U.S. and China, and why this is important. So, this is our feature story tonight. We're talking about the U.S. and TikTok deal that's going down right now for the U.S. to buy TikTok. So the Charlie Kirk memorial part is over with. Now we're gonna move on to our main story, and that is this TikTok buy from the United States, and why this is not a good thing. It's not a good thing in my opinion. It's just not, and I'll go over why it's not. But we're gonna talk about it one quick. I'm gonna play a YouTube video. I'm gonna step away for a minute too to go grab some water too as well, because my throat's kind of parched after that kind of like rant that I had. All right, so what's a good one that I could play right now for you guys? All right, so this is from Live Now with Fox. I'm gonna play this one right quick for you guys. So you guys tune in right now. I'm gonna step away, grab some water right quick, and I'll be right back.
Welcome back. I'm Austin Westfall. Some tech news coming out of the White House today. President Trump expecting to approve a proposed deal this week that would ensure that TikTok in the United States is majority owned by American investors and keeps user data in a trusted cloud. Let's get the latest from Fox News. I believe this is, yes, Mark Meredith bringing us this report.
TikTok lives on. The Trump administration says the popular social media platform will remain in business as it announces a deal to transfer the app from Chinese company ByteDance to U.S. ownership.
This is great news, not just for the millions of American youth who use TikTok. Their data will be safe and secure with this new deal. They'll continue to use this very fun app.
For years, Washington has wrestled with how to salvage the app while keeping its successful but addictive content recommendation algorithm. Under this new deal, cloud computing firm Oracle will provide app security in the U.S., operating a form of the algorithm outside of ByteDance's control.
They're going to get a copy of the code from the Chinese for some fee. Then they're going to go in and strip out all of the spyware and guarantee to members of Congress, of which there are many China hawks, that they can monitor every packet of information leaving the server and say where it's going.
While officials say foreign influence will be removed, the platform will still connect people around the world.
TikTok will remain globally interoperable, meaning TikTok users in the U.S. will be able to see videos posted by users in other countries and vice versa.
Under the agreement, existing investors and a group of new U.S. backers would together own roughly 80% of the company.
Really great people, very prominent people. And they're also American patriots. You know, they love this country. So I think they're going to do a really good job.
And if you're already a TikTok user, you won't see any major changes. The ownership transfer is designed to be seamless, so you shouldn't have to download a new version of the app. In Washington, Mark Meredith, Fox News.
Okay, so there's plenty of news outlets out there saying that this is expected to happen. The Wall Street Journal, though, is putting it this way. They say that they very well do expect that President Trump will sign an executive order approving this deal later this week. So we'll be watching closely. Standing by here is Glenn Gersdale. He's he formerly served as the general counsel of the National Security Agency. He's here to discuss this. Before we get into the news of the day, I think it's important to understand why this is happening. What are the national security concerns relating to TikTok and its parent company, ByteDance?
Thanks, Austin. For years, Congress has been wrestling with this national security concern, which hasn't been proven to be an imminent threat, but nonetheless, Congress and other politicians and state governments and local governments have been worried about TikTok, principally for two reasons. One, the concern that user data sucked up by TikTok, which like most social media apps scoops up lots of information about its users, might be sent off to Beijing for nefarious purposes. There's no evidence that that has happened on any kind of systematic large scale, although there have been instances of it, but we haven't seen that, but that's a concern. It's a risk, a national security concern. The second one is the possibility that at a time of conflict, or maybe right before a conflict, the Chinese Communist Party might direct ByteDance, the corporate parent owner of TikTok, to flood TikTok with disinformation, maybe very subtle at first, that perhaps might call into question whether America should really defend Taiwan. Maybe it suggests that the Taiwanese government is corrupt, etc. Maybe it starts to influence public opinion. We might not.
All right, so I'll briefly speak about it myself, and then we'll continue on right now. All right, so what does this TikTok deal look like? Why is this a bad thing? Why is this a bad thing? All right, so the reason why I want to go ahead and say this is a bad thing, optimally wise, for why I don't think we should be purchasing TikTok is because it's Oracle, the one that's gonna own the TikTok ownership. And as everyone knows, Larry Ellison is the head of Oracle. As I can show you right here. Let me bring him up right quick. So it would be owned by Oracle. Where is it? Here you go. This is who's owning TikTok right here. The head of Oracle, Larry Ellison. And if anybody doesn't realize, stupid.